Super Dave here with another review.
Thundercats, Thundercats, ho! It is Super Dave, and this time another Thundercats review, and we are looking at a mercenary. That's right, a Thundercat who can be, hired by Mum-Ra to come after the Thundercats, or if the price is high enough or he's impressed enough with what you've got to offer, he'll help the good guys. That's right, Captain Shiner. And we've already had some say that he may be on the short side, so we're going to find out and see how he measures up with others. But let's just take a look at this guy. I think he is awesome. Now, I do have a question. I'm going to borrow one of Anthony's Customs ideas. Question of the day. Is this a dog? Is Captain Shiner a dog? Now, when I saw it back in the 80s, that's what I thought. I thought he had a bulldog, especially some of his workers. Here's a picture of a couple of them. I mean, I thought his crew were dogs. And I thought, how appropriate. Because, when he first came in, I believe he was a bad guy, or he was working, against the Thundercats or whatever. And I'm thinking, here he is in this spaceship, flying in outer space, and he is against the Thundercats, and they're dogs. I thought it was funny. But maybe he's not. Maybe I'm mistaken. But, in this rendition of him, it doesn't really look like, per se, clearly a dog. But that's just what crossed my mind as a kid, and I still think it would be kind of cool if they were dogs today. That's cool. Anyway, you tell me what you think. There is the awesome artwork on the back, and there is that bio card. If you'd like to read that, you can pause it if you would like now. All right, let's go ahead and break open Captain Shiner and check him out over here in his spaceship. And we've thrown together a Mod Podge of different characters to help kind of form out. Man, wouldn't it be cool if they would at least, a few of these, the guys that look like him, didn't look quite like this, as I showed you the pictures, to do army builders so that he could be, have a crew. But anyway, we've made a crew for now. Let's go over here and check him out. And on the heavily armed spaceship Virtus, we wander through the halls, meeting the crew of Captain Shiner as they are busy about their tasks. So we wander through here to come around to where the captain is standing guard at the helm, ready for us to take a look at his accessories. And Captain Shiner comes with 1, 2, 3.5 sets of hands, not counting the folded arms hands here, because he comes with a set of vertically hinged weapon holding hands on this set of arms that can be attached when he does not have his arms folded. And then he comes with a set of balled up fisted hands, as well as some gesturing hands with that pointer finger style hand, which I'm assuming is reminiscent to the show, and that is vertically hinged as well. And then you have this long hand over here, this right hand, that is by itself. So I'm not sure why we have an odd number, but that is cool. Then you have 3 head sculpts. You have the regular head sculpt of Captain Shiner with the monocle, and you can see that is a translucent monocle that you can see his eye back in there. And then we have a open mouth head sculpt where he's either yelling out an order or talking, and then one where it looks like he is just kind of smiling, and that looks cool. But all 3 have the translucent monocle with the little rope thing that goes down from it that will attach to his uniform. So that is cool. We also get a ray gun, as you see there, at one of his guns. Very simple, almost Star Trek looking. And we talked about the arms already. But then he also comes with a set of handcuffs with a real chain. So that's cool. Take a look at that in just a moment. And then we have the Sword of Omen with the eye covered up when he captured that sword and gave it to Mum-Ra. And then Mum-Ra threw it into the black hole, but they had to wrap that eye around it because Mum-Ra didn't want the sword to know who had it. But of course we know how that played out. But that is cool relic to go along with this awesome looking action figure. It does look like, I'm sad to say, that he is a little on the short side, and we'll check that out here in just a moment as we take a closer look at Captain Shiner. All right, bringing our Captain Shiner in just a little closer here. We can see that you can pop off this arm piece very easily. That's one solid piece. You see the hands and everything molded in together. That is really a nice touch, especially since that's kind of his signature there, if you will. And then as you see, you just take each of these arms and you plug them in side of the pegs so that he'll have his regular arms equipped, ready to go. Very easy to execute so that you have your, I guess you have to make sure they're popped in really good and tight first. We'll make sure of that. And so they go on just so, and you can see once you get them pegged in tight, they stay on pretty good. I have noticed a few QC issues, like there just seems to be either some kind of little glue or some kind of scratchy stuff that's in the joints, and I even noticed it on some of the pegs already from the hands that have not even been equipped yet. Overall, I'm already seeing, compared to the other two figures we've already looked at, Wily Kit and Hachiman, that this figure seems to have a little bit more issues. One, I don't like the way the legs look here in hand. It just looks like you can see the gap. You can see where the pants end and where the ball joint begins. You just see too much of that, and no matter what you do, even if you try to close it in, that makes him a little bow-legged. Trying to close that in, it just gaps back out, and don't like that as much. I don't like the fact that he's too short. He seemed to be a tall character in the show. There's a picture of him in the show, best we can see him, along with some of the others. Not a real side-by-side comparison, but you can see what we're looking at there. But this guy, his head sculpts are really cool. I will say that. I really like the uniform. I like the color scheme. I like the stripes. The paint apps seem to be pretty good for the most part, but I'm just having some little areas like the scratches in the joints and stuff there. Not sure how these are going to hold up. I've already noticed just twisting the bicep swivel, it coming off, but if you make sure it's popped in there pretty good, I don't think that's going to be an issue. But that's pretty much it as far as taking a closer look. Again, you can see that monocle is translucent. You can see the eye behind there, which is really cool. Like the monocle. You see how it stands out there beyond the eye. So cool. Like that. The face is just geniusly done. Really love the face. Really cool. It just doesn't give me dog vibes here, but in the cartoon it did, so I don't know. But I think they did a good job. Guess it's possible he's just an alien. But anyway, let's go ahead now and look at our Captain Shiner's articulation. All right, bringing in our Captain Shiner, we want to look at this head sculpt. I went ahead and put the yelling head on there. He's going to be able to look up a pretty good amount there. He's going to be able to look down a pretty good amount there. He also gets excellent pivoting So you get a really good amount of head motion. Now we'll notice that the monocle little plug, even when you pull out this little uniform piece, which is a separate piece, and try to plug that in to that hole, it goes in, but it pops out very easily. Almost wish there had been another hole behind this strap to have made it go in further, because you're just pushing against the chest more than anything, and it's not really staying. If you bend the head a little bit more forward, then you might be able to get it to stay in. You know, most of the Super 7's toys, their action figures, I could say, you know, you can play with this thing. I mean, you can take it home, get in the floor, and you can play with them. This figure, I almost would say that you need to pose him, set him the way you want him, and leave him. He just doesn't have the quality feel that the other two that we've reviewed had, in my opinion. But, you know, we're early on in looking at him, so we're going to give him a fair shot. But let's go ahead and look at the other head sculpt without the open mouth to see the difference in our head articulation. So here is the smiling Captain Shiner with some teeth showing, and he'll be able to look up a good amount there. He'll be able to look down all the way and be able to get some excellent pivoting, and it looks like it's holding pretty good on this one. I plugged it in. Maybe this one's got a little better of a peg length possibly, but and I like the shading. This one seems to have more shading than the other one. I'm not sure if this one, if he's supposed to have been bruised here or what, but this one does have a little bit more shading here and on the chin and on the nose than the other two. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be, you know, reminiscent of something or not. Moving on to the arms, we're going to be able to get almost 90 degree on the T-pose there. He will get 360. You do have the bicep swivel. You have single jointed elbows, and you get the swivel at the elbow. This weapon holding hand, which comes equipped on these arms, is vertically hinged, and that goes for both of them. That comes with a weapon holding hand on this side too, but I switched this one out to that pointer finger because it's also vertically hinged, and I mean very vertically hinged. As you can see, it's pretty cool. So he's going to definitely be able to gesture well with that hand. So just like I said, just in playing around with him so far, just doing the bicep swivel has made these pop off. But so far they're holding on pretty good right now. Moving on to the diaphragm here, we have your traditional classics cut. So you're going to be able to crunch forward about that much, and you're going to be able to crunch back about that much. We don't get the ball joint at all on this one, but he will rotate at the waist. Just going to have to watch out the paint scrubbing here. So everything looks pretty good. Now this does go all the way down to here, but it doesn't seem to hinder too much because the whole thing turns. Even the crunching seems to do pretty good. So that's awesome. He's going to get full splits, which he should, with the problems that we're having seeing all of this. So there's your thigh rotation joint that goes up into the leg. But unfortunately, it's such a shiny joint that it really shows at these cracks here. And I don't like that part about it. But it does rotate. You can rotate that leg. He's going to be able to kick up a really good amount. He's going to be able to kick back a good amount. He has single jointed knees, and it also has the rotation at the knee that we've been used to seeing with Super 7. He's going to get full tiptoes. He'll go up a pretty decent amount, and excellent rockers. And look, the peg hole is at the front of the foot again. So apparently that's a this wave thing. But anyway, that pretty much is the articulation, and he does really look cool. But let's go ahead and measure him in right quick. So to measure our Captain Shiner, he comes in just above 6 inches. I mean, he is 6 1/4 inch tall. So yeah, he is definitely on the short side. And someone asked me already, is he shorter and smaller than Panthro? And yes, he almost looks like he comes from a different line when you put him up against Panthro. And Panthro was on the shorter side. He was bulky and muscular, but he was on the shorter side compared to like Tigra and Lion-O. And in the cartoon, I don't remember him being short like this or being shorter than Panthro. So I'm really surprised that Super 7 let this go, let this pass when they were supposed to evaluate to see if the figure was up to par before production. I'm surprised they didn't put the brakes on this one and say, wait a minute, he looks good, but you got to make him taller and bigger, because this is a problem right here. He doesn't look like he fits in with this line. And I know we're not at comparisons yet, but let's just go ahead and bring Lion-O in here as well. And you see just how big these figures are next to our Captain Shiner. So it's really strange. Don't understand that. That's odd. And trying to do the space station setup, the spaceship setup here, I'm sorry that my colors are a little bit off. I'm trying hard to get the light right so it doesn't wash out his face, but at the same time get, so you can see, because if I do that, it kind of makes it too bright, I feel like. But anyway, you see what I'm talking about. I would have felt better if he had been at least as tall as Panthro, and the head would have been at least as big as Panthro's. Not necessarily as big as Lion-O's necessarily, but you see it just looks like his features are larger. I mean, he wasn't muscular. He was a slender build character, but I thought it was taller than this, and at least the same scale as the other figures. But anyway, there you go.
Fantastic! I'm so glad you've joined me today to take a look at my spaceship and to do some comparisons between myself and the others in this line. Come, join me. I'm in command here, Thundercats. Are we about done with these comparisons so we can move on to the photo gallery? Well, hey, Mandora, at least we both came with a set of handcuffs. Yep, we sure did. Of course, I got a real gun. You got a stupid boomerang.
Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. And please come back and see us next time. And we're going to be looking at a Lunatic. We have all the other ones up now other than him, and we're going to be looking at him next. Thank you for joining us. Come back and see us soon. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.